Welcome, everybody, to PPR Podcast number 212. My name is Paul. This is the star of the podcast and of the Prep Pigs Report, Mr. Burt Grossman. Burt, the reveal's already happened.
It's already up there. International model, Zack. How are you?
Zack Marshall, who's gotten more time on KUSI in the last week and a half
than anybody.
You have preferred nation status, Zack. You should be very happy with your hometown TV station.
Oh, it's great. I should get you guys all a Delta card to come out to Ann Arbor or something. You guys every time out there.
Tell people why you are. For those who don't know, Zack played his senior season at Carlsbad, and help me out. Was Santa Fe Christian? Was it?
Yeah.
Santa Fe Christian, then Carlsbad, and now you're a second-year man in Ann Arbor at Michigan. But you were back in town for the skills camp. Tell us about it, Zack.
Yeah. So for my spring break, I decided I wanted to come home, do a skills camp with all the kids of the area. So we had kids all the way from Poway, Escondido, all the way down to Carlsbad, Oceantown. So it was great to have people from all over San Diego coming out to Carlsbad High School and having a great two and a half hour camp.
Zack, was it more about what goes on the field, or were you teaching more about what goes on off the field as it relates to recruiting and whatnot? Well, what was the focus of your instruction?
So it was a mix. So what we started with was just teaching little fundamental differences that are going to elevate you to the next level, right? Things like don't focus so much about the moves, think about the speed, think about techniques that are going to be a little bit more translatable to any sport, really. Just being able to be economical with your movement and training you to be a better athlete in general. And then as we went on and on through the camp, we kind of shifted more towards getting into recruiting and what it really takes to go to the next level. Talking about what you put in, you're going to get out. So whether that's your friends, whether that's your coaches and the people around you, the better the people around you are, the better you're going to get. So I hear all the time, you're the sum of your 5 closest friends. So keeping those close and making sure they're good people.
Yeah, I try to tell kids all the time, if you run a 4.2 and you make 2 false steps, you're all of a sudden a 4.6 and it doesn't matter anymore. And people don't get that.
100%.
They don't get that, yeah. Hey, I'm going to age myself because you talked about recruiting. Was Jay Harbaugh your tight end coach at Michigan?
He wasn't my tight ends coach, but he was my special teams coordinator for my first year. Now he's with Mike McDaniel up in Seattle. So he went to the NFL last year.
So I coached him at St. Augustine's. He played D-line for me.
Yeah.
That's how old we are compared to Zack. It makes me feel,
wow.
I'm a little sad right now.
I
just realized that.
Going to work out in Coronado and running into Jay and
Jim.
I never ran into Coach, but I ran into his I think Jay's mom was always working out there, so they could not have been nicer and friendlier. And
you work out?
Well, back in the day.
Speaking of working out, how much weight have you gained since you've been there?
You're a man.
Yeah, I'm 240, 245 in that range right now. I went out there at 205. So everyone that sees me and hasn't seen me since college is like, "Whoa, where'd your neck go?" Or like, "Whoa, you're like twice as big. Did they just pile 2 of you together?" So it's kind of funny to. You don't see it yourself. You don't see it yourself as you're doing it, but when you leave for a year and come back, everyone just is bewildered.
How does one put on that kind of poundage? I mean,
we joke a pound a week. It's a pound a week. Food, and more food. I mean, it's 5-6 meals a day.
Whoa.
Protein shakes and water. Water is huge. Everyone forgets that if you're not drinking enough water, your muscles aren't going to retain their size, their ability with how much you're working out. So the recovery aspect is twice as important as the workout aspect.
Is that what you followed when you were working out in Coronado?
Jeez, my fluids are Diet Cokes and
vodka.
Hey, you and the coaches are friends in that. I mean, I promise you, Diet Coke, it gets ordered in pallets. That's how big the Diet Coke intake is in the facility. I mean, that's Jim's favorite.
All right. So
let me ask.
Please.
We had somebody you might know last week, Julian Sayin on.
Yeah, good friend.
Everybody knows the rivalry between the two schools. What is better? Because the rivalry, this is how big the rivalry is. What is better? Is it better to win the national championship, or is it better to beat Ohio State? Because you beat Ohio State, but they won the national championship. Which one's better in that rivalry?
So we don't have win the national championship on our walls 24/7, but we have what are you doing to beat Ohio State on our walls 24/7. So that might answer your question.
It does answer my question. And I actually thought it would be that from.
Did Julian respond at all to the little bit we did last week with the rings? Did you hear from him?
I haven't heard from him. I mean, we're great friends. It's all friendly competition, but between us, I mean, once it's on the field, it's a whole nother thing. It's hate. It's hate week. They call it hate week, and we genuinely hate them. It's what it is.
Because I thought I got this ring that says 15-0, and I got this Big Ten champion. Dude, that was a pretty. How long did you think about that?
It was on the spot. I brought the rings downstairs to make sure that I had them for the podcast. If you guys wanted me to pull them out, well, I don't have them now. Now that I'm in Ann Arbor, I don't take those through TSA. You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
But when I was in Ann Arbor, I made sure to have the rings on standby. So once he said what's better, I had to just pull it out. I said, "Yeah, Julian, you guys won't get one of these." But
that was precious. That was precious.
Do you wear the ring a lot, or does it kind of just stay in a box?
Depends on the ring. So we got one from the CFP that's not quite as flashy. So we actually ended up getting 4 rings. One for the Rose Bowl, one for the Big Ten championship,
Man.
one for the actual national championship that we got to design, and then one that the CFP gives you as a reward for winning the national championship. So for that, I wear the one that the CFP gives me because it's a lot less flashy, kind of, I wouldn't say out and about, but kind of if I want to look stylish or trying to be a little extra, it's great to pull that one out.
I guess Carlsbad's done pretty good. They got 2 national championships in a row. Julian's favored like 8th in the country.
Michigan has. You're talking about Michigan?
No, I mean the 2 players from
okay.
Julian and Harbaugh. Yeah. Julian's like 8th on the odds to win the Heisman this year. So that was pretty good deal for Carlsbad, I'd say.
I'll say.
What about your high school?
Yeah, we were 3-8. I think my senior season. Zach, as you look back on all this, the decision to go to Michigan, I mean, I don't know the particulars, but I'm guessing it's worked out very nicely for you. Can you walk us through how it just seems a little weird that Michigan would come and find a kid in San Diego? How did they find you? And the decision. I mean, any regrets? I'm guessing not.
Zero regrets. I mean, I got to play over 250 snaps this year between special teams and offense, which is rare to see as a sophomore tight end. So very grateful there. But funny, we mentioned Julian. It was the quarterback coach that was recruiting him that actually found me as I was catching for Julian after I'd shown up on campus at Carlsbad. And he was like, who's the guy catching for him? And Coach Matt goes over and talks to the coach, and they're like, "Man, you need to get in contact with our tight ends coach." This is the summer before my season. Started doing workouts, and it was just so cool to end up with somebody who was recruiting Julian, then kind of finding me, and then building that relationship from there.
So, Zach, you've made nothing but good decisions, and I'm sure I'll ruffle some feathers by saying this, but the decision to play your last year at Carlsbad was also a good decision for the very reason you just said.
Totally. As from a recruiting perspective, no one would ever blame me, right? There was some hardships. I lost a couple of friends, but gained a lot once I went to Carlsbad, and also, another reason why I went there was so I could early enroll, which really put me ahead of the sticks. Carlsbad's, admin. Carlsbad's admin were super willing to work with me to get my transcript finished by the winter and get me out to Ann Arbor. So it all worked out really, really well, regardless of the hardships I had to endure, like the 4 games I had to sit out at the beginning of my senior season.
So that being said, and I have to ask this in today's landscape of college football, you see yourself at any time ever transferring out of Michigan?
Not really. I mean, people that play at Michigan, they're in it for the long haul. I mean, we have something on our wall that says those who stay will be champions, and it's those who work hard will stay. So the people that work hard are going to stay because they see the benefit of being at a place like Michigan. And for me, it's the long game, right? Every single tight end that's started in the Harbaugh era has played on a NFL roster.
Wow.
And what's it like? Take us back to that day where you hear that Coach Harbaugh's leaving, he's going to the Chargers. What was the mood in the building that day?
Well, the sad part was I had class, right? I'm in class. They had the meeting at like noon, right, for everyone, and I had a class from 11:30 to 1. And what are we doing? Can't even let half the guys be there? No, I'm just kidding. But he had to get out to LA at that time, so I found out kind of secondhand when he addressed the team. I had a class commitment, but we knew it was happening kind of about 2 days before, and then the thing that surprised us were all the people that he took with us, because we knew that he was setting up for an NFL job. It was kind of in the works, but when he took the strength coach and when he took the D-Cord, Minter, and all of them, and we were like, wow. We didn't know how many people were going to go with him.
Well, the one plus side to that, Zach, is in 2 years' time, you now have an NFL head coach who knows you really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy because you got an NFL head coach that knows you really well, but I also went to FNL the other day, watched some of the middle schoolers playing, and I ran into a guy that's like the head of operations for the Chargers. And he's like, "You knew Jim, didn't you?" And it's like, what a small world. At FNL, of all places, to run into the head of operations is, wow. It's San Diego is everywhere.
Hey, were you part of the sign stealing at all? Did you take part in that?
Oh, so sign stealing, that's all alleged. I have no interest or knowledge of anything that happened. So you're going to have to ask the higher ups for that one.
I got it. I watched the Netflix or whatever documentary.
Why do you bring up?
Because I got an insider here.
What does he have to do with?
He's an insider. He was there.
No, he's not. He
was there.
Hey, I want to go back to something because I think
I need answers.
You were talking about your skills. Like,
any self-respecting journalist would ask the hard questions.
Zach, I apologize for he took a lot of hits as a young man, and it's just
it's CTE.
Yeah. The CTE thing is an ugly thing to witness when you're so close to it
in real time.
Zach, I want to go back to something you were saying about off the field knowledge that you're trying to teach, and I want you to talk about it a little bit because you're.
I'm allowed to talk now.
Your analogy of make sure your 5 closest friends are good people. Could you expand on that, and then?
No, you're one of my closest friends, so I already failed that.
Bert, could you? I want you to know, like, what did you wish you knew before you got recruited?
Oh God!
Like, would you have gone to Zach's camp?
I would have. What I know now, but back then, no. My biggest thing was because you said it. You were in class. I never went to class. Had it all paid for. Never went to class. Never did anything. 10 years after I got done playing football, I had to pay $40-some thousand to finish my degree that would have been for free if I would just went to class. So that's what. But
Zach, expand on the 5 friends.
Well, that is my 5 friends didn't go to class either.
So so you were okay. So then, could you expand on that, Zach?
Yeah. So to speak to Bert's point, I made sure that the school that I chose not only had amazing education, but was also great at football. Right. So I'm into the Ross Business School, which is the number 2 business school in the nation, and go to class every day. It's a big thing that we have in our facility. We get points. There's a point system where you get rewarded for going to class, doing everything right. So they really incentivize it, and it's a big deal for me. And back to that kind of the 5 closest friends. The people that you hang out with, you're going to mirror their choices. For me, I spent a lot of time with my parents. They're good people. They've done everything to sacrifice for me. I spend a lot of time with my girlfriend, who is extremely supportive of football and where it's taken me and where it will take me. And then my other 3 closest friends are on the team, including my tight ends coach, which he would hate to hear me say that because we're not friends, but we're friends. You know, you become friends with the coaches around you because of how much time you spend with them. So to have those people in my corner, I mean, guys like Eli Owens, Marlon Klein, Max Bredesen, like just good people in your corner, the people that you're spending the most time with, that's who you want to be with.
Hey, you mentioned something interesting, incentives, and you guys get rewards. What are some of the rewards, the actual rewards? What do they give you?
Oh, for like in-house stuff, it's usually Jordan shoes, tracksuits, clothes, a dinner at like Ruth's Chris or Chop House, right?
Oh,
fancy award rewards like that. So we had a bowling competition a while back, whole team bowling competition. The tight ends won, and we still have not set up our Ruth's Chris dinner that we are owed. And it was just the timing, so we need to get to Ruth's Chris here pretty soon.
how many T-bones can a group of tight ends put away?
Yeah, man, times have changed.
You're right.
We didn't get anything.
Yeah, well.
Literally nothing.
Well, in essence.
Well, I would have got it anyway because I never went to class. But if we did have rewards.
But in essence, I mean, do you feel like a professional athlete? I mean, you're going to one of the most prominent schools in the nation. I mean, their history is storied. I mean,
Yeah.
God, if I have to hear your fight song one more, every time I covered the Badgers back in the day, and there will always be 50-0, and that damn song, just by the second quarter, nah, 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 nah. I hate it, man. I hate it. But to get back to my question, you're at this prominent school. Do you feel like a professional athlete already?
100%. I mean, the collectives and all the incentives with NIL make it feel like, you're the higher up on the roster you get, the more time you put into the facility, the more you're going to get out of it. So for me, what that looked like last year was find any way to play special teams. And I played the most snaps on the entire team for special teams players. So with that, I got rewarded pretty heavily in my what our collective has chosen to pay. So we're doing really well.
Man.
Can I just say, for anybody who's watching this, that watches this, young athletes and coaches alike, and moms and dads, you're seeing why this kid's going to be a difference maker, because some kids will say, oh, I played special teams, and be transferring because they don't feel like they're. Zack is embracing his reps on the special teams, and consequently, he's just the guy you want on your team. And it's that kind of attitude, folks, is that it shouldn't be, things aren't instant gratification. This young man's going to work for it, and it's going to pay dividends, and whatever, mark my words, this kid's going to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just dating myself again. Every time I'm thinking, I was like, who was the recruiter me in Michigan? It was Bo Schembechler. That's how old I am. That's sad.
Yeah, great man, though.
Yeah, but that's a long time ago, man.
Great man.
Every time we do these, when the high school kicks come on, I feel old. I don't know about you.
Well, I'm older than you.
I know. That's why I was looking at you.
All right. So Zack, just because this is obviously for a high school audience, and there's a lot of kids who are either your peers or right behind being your peers. Speak to them right now. I think you have, but kind of because we're going to wrap this up. You've been on our air so much that
we need to start calling Lauren Finney.
Yeah,
he's been on so much.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit worried about my own job. So, talk to the youth out there. What's your message?
My message is play for something bigger than you. For me, that's my faith and my family, right? So, everything that you do, it's got to be bigger than just. You find a motivator. Like that's the biggest thing, because intrinsic motivation is going to take you 95% of the way. Being there for yourself, it's going to pay dividends. But that extra 5% is where people end up either in the NFL or end up in the best businesses in the world, and that's because they have something bigger than themselves to work for every single day.
All right, one last question.
Yeah.
So where are you going to be after football? What's your goal after football? Whether it's
My
pro or
plan
anything.
is play in the NFL as long as possible, right? That's everyone's goal. That's why you go to Michigan, right? After that, I want to get into the business world, whether it's being in sports agency or sports litigation, something in that. So right now I'm on pace to graduate with my BBA, Bachelor's in Business Administration from the best business school in the nation, and then would do a MBA JD program once I'm done playing. So it's a joint program that does 2 years, and you get your master's in business and you get your JD for law.
Everybody that I've known, and I've got family members that have gone to Michigan, they all speak with the same, the greatest this, the greatest.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of
You can
confidence
check
on
the
that
USA
campus.
New York Times report. We are the best business school in the nation, the best public school in the nation.
All right. Listen, it's because you have lower academic standards than the University of Wisconsin. You probably couldn't get into Wisconsin, so you went to but it's a good option, number 2. Zach, last thing. Is there anything like the Prep Pigskin Report out there? Do you ever watch Friday Night TV to see how they do high school football?
All the time. I mean, my heart broke when Granite Hills beat Carlsbad. I was watching the recap because it's obviously very late there, right? So I got a game the next day, and I'm up at almost close to midnight watching the PPR, and it was a night game, may I add. So got plenty of.
You get in trouble.
My heart broke watching Granite Hills beat Carlsbad last year.
I just want to hug him through the screen. Zach, we got to go. They're doing some work in the studio, and we got to clear out. But I figure you've got enough. You've had enough of us for a while. I promise we'll do this again in the not so distant future. And just know that. I guess the only time we can. What are we going to do when the Zach is playing Julian? Because we love them both. What are we going to do? You have to root for one. I'll have to root for the other.
Root for a high offensive game, right?
We'll
a lot of points scored. That's all you got to root.
Well, just you both are very, very respectful and very loyal to the show, and for that, you always will have my undying affection. So thanks for that, and have a safe day and safe travels back to Ann Arbor. Okay.
Will do. Appreciate you guys.
Zack Marshall, everybody. PPR Podcast number 212 is over. Turn off the machines. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Bert. You guys have a good one.